The void of space was quiet, almost too quiet. Stars flickered far away, cold and distant, while the scanners aboard USS Horizon hummed softly. Commander Elena Drake leaned over the control panel, her eyes narrowing at the blinking red light on the main console. A signal. Strange, irregular, and unlike anything Earth had ever detected before. "Sir," said Lieutenant Malik, his voice tense. "It's not just a signal. It's a message, repeating in a pattern. We're picking it up on multiple frequencies." Drake straightened, her fingers resting lightly on the edge of the console. Her mind raced. Messages from deep space weren't uncommon, distress calls, scientific probes, but this had a tone that spoke of intelligence, of warning, and maybe even of challenge. "Patch it through to the lab. I want every linguist, every cryptographer on this," Drake ordered. "And alert command." Quietly. The lab was a hive of activity within minutes. Scientists and codebreakers crowded around screens, headphones clamped to their ears. Waves of alien symbols scrolled across displays, a chaotic mix of geometry and light pulses. But slowly, patterns emerged. Dr. Kira Sun, a linguist with a reputation for solving impossible codes, leaned back in her chair. "This isn't just a random signal. It's deliberate. It's taunting us," she said. "They know we're listening." Drake frowned. "Taunting? What makes you say that?" Kira's fingers danced over her holographic keyboard. "The rhythm, the repetition. It's almost mocking. Whoever sent this is not afraid. They're confident, arrogant, and, yes, it's a challenge." Outside the lab, the crew of Horizon felt the tension like a current running through the ship. For months, Earth had maintained its quiet patrols along the outer rim, a fringe of humanity's presence in the vast galaxy. Peaceful, unchallenged. Until now. Drake took a deep breath. "Bring it to me, Kira. Show me what it says." A few minutes later, Kira stood before the bridge, a holographic display between them. Symbols and light pulses floated in the air. Slowly, they formed words, rough, broken translations at first, then clearer. "Humans," Drake read aloud. "Weak, primitive. Do not dare enter the outer sectors, or suffer extinction." The words hung in the air like ice. Silence filled the bridge. Then, almost instinctively, the crew straightened. Fear was there, yes, but beneath it something else. Determination. Humans had faced threats before, but nothing like this. A direct, open challenge from a civilization that claimed superiority over the galaxy. Drake's voice was steady. "Extinction, huh?" she said. "We'll see about that." The next hours were a blur of preparations. Every ship in the nearby sectors was alerted. Earth Command ordered the deployment of reconnaissance drones, fleet movements, and sensor sweeps. Analysts worked around the clock, trying to determine who had sent the message. "Preliminary scans suggest a fleet," said Admiral Harlan in the command center, his voice sharp. "Not small, not even medium. This is a full-scale presence in the outer sectors. They have weapons technology far beyond ours, energy cannons, shielding, the works." Drake leaned back, fists clenched. "Then we fight smart. Not just with firepower. Strategy. Surprise. Humanity isn't weak, Admiral. Not now. Not ever." Across the galaxy, in a dark command room aboard a massive alien dreadnought, the beings responsible for the signal watched the data feed from their scouts. They were tall, multi-limbed creatures with eyes that reflected light like liquid metal. Their leader, a being called Zarkath, smiled a sharp, cruel smile. "They are small, fragile, weak, yet they send their ships toward our sectors. How bold, how foolish," Zarkath hissed, turning to his generals. "Prepare the defenses. Let them learn their place in the galaxy." Back on Horizon, the human crew didn't wait. A small, elite team of pilots and engineers gathered, plotting their first moves. Lieutenant Malik, a sharp young pilot, spoke up. "Commander, we don't even know their full strength. Charging in blindly could mean disaster." Drake's gaze was unwavering. "Malik, every species thinks we're weak. Every single one. Today, we show them that humans adapt, humans survive, and humans strike back. That's how we win." The tension in the room was thick. Every word, every glance, carried the weight of the unknown. No one could predict exactly what the aliens were capable of, but the human response would define the first moments of this new conflict. Hours turned into a long, restless night. Humans decoded more of the alien signal. Hidden within the mocking words were coordinates, a location in the outer sectors where the alien fleet had positioned itself. A trap? Possibly, but it was a chance. Drake called her team together in the ship's planning room. "This is it," she said, pointing to the holographic map. "They think we are weak. They think we will run. But they have underestimated one thing, our mind, our courage, and our will to survive. Tomorrow we send a message back. Not with words, but with action." The plan was simple in outline, deadly in execution. Recon drones would scout the alien positions. Human ships would strike from unexpected angles, using the asteroid fields and nebulae as cover. The aim was not to destroy the fleet yet, that would come later, but to send a warning: humanity does not submit. As the crew prepared, Elena Drake walked to the observation deck. Outside, the stars stretched infinitely. Somewhere out there, the alien fleet waited. Proud, arrogant, certain of their victory. Drake's hand rested on the railing. "They don't know us yet," she whispered to herself. "They haven't seen what humans can do. They're about to find out." In the dead silence of space, the signal repeated once more. Mocking, arrogant, confident. But this time, the message carried a different weight for those who understood it. It was no longer just a warning, it was an invitation to war. And humanity was ready to answer. The first spark of movement rippled through the human fleet. Engines hummed, shields glowed softly, and the pilots took their positions. This was more than survival, it was a statement. The galaxy had declared humans weak, primitive, and incapable. The humans would show them how wrong they were. As the fleet slipped into the shadows of nearby asteroid belts, the alien dreadnoughts remained unaware. The first human strike was coming. Swift, precise, unpredictable, and the message it would send would echo across the stars. Challenge humanity, and pay the price. The countdown had begun. The darkness of the asteroid belt swallowed the human fleet like a shadow moving through endless void. Engines hummed quietly, barely audible over the soft beeps of the control panels. Commander Elena Drake's eyes scanned the holographic display, tracing the positions of the alien fleet. They were massive ships built to intimidate, bristling with weapons, shields glowing faintly under the starlight. But they had one weakness. They didn't expect humans to fight back with brains as much as firepower. Lieutenant Malik, seated at the navigation console, spoke first. "Commander, the outer flank is lightly guarded. We can hit them from the nebula side. It'll give us cover and a surprise advantage." Drake nodded. "Good. Signal the strike teams. Quiet approach. Maximum impact. Minimum detection." The human ships moved like shadows, weaving between rocks and ice fragments. Pilots held their breath as they approached the alien perimeter, every moment feeling stretched, as though space itself had slowed. The first sensors of the alien fleet flickered with detection, slight, almost dismissive. Their arrogance blinded them to the silent hunters in the dark. Suddenly, a massive alien cruiser turned its glowing bow toward the approaching humans. Energy pulses lit its edges, scanning the void. Its weapons charged with a low hum that sent vibrations through nearby ships. Drake's hand tightened on the control rail. "Hold formation," she commanded. "Wait for my signal." Time stretched. Seconds felt like minutes. The tension aboard Horizon was electric. Every crew member knew the stakes. If this attack failed, humanity's outer sectors could be threatened, and the arrogance of the aliens could turn deadly fast. Then, Drake pressed her lips together and gave the order. "Strike!" In an instant, human ships burst from the shadows. Energy torpedoes streaked through the void. Plasma beams carved paths toward alien hulls, and the first explosions erupted like miniature novas among the enemy fleet. The aliens had not expected this. Not the sudden, coordinated assault from hidden angles. Their initial shock rippled through their ranks. Lieutenant Malik's ship darted between two massive alien cruisers, firing ion disruptors that crippled their shields. They didn't see this coming. Malik shouted over comms, excitement and fear mingling in his voice. Drake's eyes remained focused on the main display. Keep pushing. Target their engines. Don't waste ammo on shields we can't penetrate yet. Hit where it hurts. The battle was a dance of death and ingenuity. Human pilots used asteroid cover, unpredictable maneuvers, and clever feints. Alien ships responded with raw power, unleashing torrents of energy and missiles, but they were too slow to adapt. Every time an alien cannon fired, human ships were already in new positions, weaving through rocks, disappearing from sensors, then striking again. Below the bridge, engineers worked frantically to maintain shields and redirect power. Sparks flew from overloaded circuits. We're losing hull integrity in two of the flanking ships, reported Ensign Ray. Divert all auxiliary power to shields. We can't lose them now, Drake barked. Keep the pressure on. Do not retreat. As the first wave of human ships caused chaos among the alien formations, the aliens began to recover. A massive dreadnought pivoted toward the human strike team, unleashing a wave of plasma energy that sent one human cruiser spinning into an asteroid. The crew inside braced for impact, hearts pounding. But even in this danger, humans adapted. Another ship launched a small decoy drone, drawing the alien fire away, while a hidden human frigate targeted the dreadnought's exposed engines. Explosions rocked the alien ship, sending pieces of armor tumbling into the void. The humans cheered over comms, small victories, but enough to fuel courage. In the center of the battlefield, Drake's flagship, Horizon, moved with precision, coordinating the attack. Every decision was calculated, every maneuver deliberate. Human ingenuity was on full display. Lasers synchronized with torpedoes, diversion tactics paired with synchronized strikes, and the use of nebula cover that distorted the alien sensors. Yet the battle was far from easy. Alien fighters swarmed human ships, crashing into shields, exploding in balls of fire. Pilots were tested to their limits, navigating debris, avoiding collisions, and taking risks that would have been unthinkable under normal circumstances. Drake's voice cut across the chaos, calm but sharp. All teams, focus on the eastern flank. Malik, you lead the charge. Take their command cruiser if you can. Everyone else cover the approach. We end the strike tonight. Malik gritted his teeth and pushed his ship forward. Energy beams danced across his viewport as he weaved through enemy fire, targeting critical systems. The alien command cruiser shuddered under the assault, shields flickering. Its commanders barked orders, trying to coordinate a counterattack, but the human precision was overwhelming. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Explosions lit the void, wreckage drifted silently, and human ships pressed on with relentless determination. The aliens, once confident, were now scrambling, their arrogance replaced with confusion and fear. They had never faced opponents who thought like humans. Unpredictable, clever, relentless. Finally, the dust of battle settled, at least temporarily. Several alien ships were damaged or destroyed, retreating toward their fleet's outer edge. The humans regrouped, exhausted but triumphant. Drake exhaled, letting a rare smile cross her face. They underestimated us, and they will pay for it. But this is just the beginning. In the alien fleet, Zarkatha's eyes glinted with fury. They fight with cunning. They survive against impossible odds. This is not acceptable, he hissed. Prepare the reinforcements. Humanity must be crushed. They cannot exist. Back on Horizon, Drake looked out into the void. The stars were quiet again, but she knew the calm was temporary. The aliens would respond more furious than ever. But humanity had sent its first message. We are not weak. We are not primitive. We are clever and we will fight back. The first strike was over, but the war had only just begun. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, humanity's cunning had planted a seed of fear that would grow with every battle to come. The aftermath of the first strike left the human fleet battered, but victorious. Smoke and debris drifted silently in the void, like ghosts of a battle just fought. Commander Elena Drake stood on the bridge of Horizon, her eyes scanning the holographic displays. The alien fleet had retreated, but only temporarily. They would regroup, and when they did, they would be more dangerous than ever. "Damage reports," Drake said, her voice steady, though tension curled in her chest. Lieutenant Malik quickly replied, "Minor hull breaches on 3 ships, Commander. Shields held on most, but the eastern wing needs immediate repair. No casualties beyond expected skirmishes." Drake nodded. "Good. But now comes the real test. We need to hit them where it hurts." Secretly, in the secret compartments of Horizon, engineers and scientists worked feverishly. Hidden weapons, long in development and classified even from most of Earth's command, were being prepared for deployment. They were not the largest ships, nor the strongest weapons, but they were precise, unpredictable, and deadly when used correctly. Dr. Kira Sun, the linguist and codebreaker, entered the room. "Commander, we've decoded more from their signal. There's more than arrogance here. They're confident, yes, but also hiding something. Their fleet isn't fully armed. Some ships are empty. They're protecting something. And we can find it." Drake's eyes narrowed. "Then we find it. And we use it against them." The fleet moved quietly through the nebulae, stealth shielding active. The alien sensors could detect power signatures, but humans had learned to mask energy outputs, to move like shadows in the light of distant stars. "Drones deployed," Malik reported. "Scanning for anomalies." The screens lit up with sensor readings. An irregular signal pulsed deep within an asteroid field, shielded by natural energy distortions. The readings suggested a large structure, possibly the alien command center or a secret weapon. Drake leaned forward. "Prepare a strike team. I want a small group of ships to approach quietly. We get in, plant charges if possible, and extract before they even know what hit them." The human pilots were tense but ready. They had survived the first strike, and the thrill of ingenuity mixed with fear gave them focus. Using the nebula and asteroid cover, they navigated toward the hidden structure. Each second felt like a minute. Every sensor blip might mean detection. Every shadow could hide a deadly alien ship. Suddenly, the first alien scout vessel appeared. Its lights cut through the darkness like a knife. Human ships froze, then split, scattering into the asteroids. Laser pulses streaked through the void. One scout fired, but the humans were already moving, evasive and unpredictable. A small torpedo, guided by AI and human control, struck the scout's engine, sending it spinning into an asteroid. Malik's voice came over comms, full of controlled excitement. "That was too close, but perfect. Keep moving." Finally, they reached the hidden structure. Massive, angular, and bristling with defenses, it loomed like a fortress in space. Yet the human fleet had learned to use brains over brawn. Drones scanned for weaknesses, pointing to the thin energy points where human weapons could pierce. Drake's team prepared their strike. "Deploy charges," she ordered. "Target the core and the shield emitters. Hit it fast, then vanish before reinforcements arrive." The small human strike team moved like ghosts, weaving through energy fields and debris. Alien sensors barely picked them up. Precision lasers cut through defense arrays. Charges were placed. And then, just as silently as they had arrived, the humans pulled back, retreating into the asteroid cover. Seconds later, the charges detonated. A massive explosion tore through the alien structure, sending shockwaves through nearby ships. Systems malfunctioned across the fleet. Shields flickered, engines faltered, and chaos spread. The aliens screamed orders, but it was too late. Humanity had struck deep, using cleverness over brute force. On Horizon, Drake allowed herself a small smile. "This is just the beginning. They don't even know what we can do yet." But the aliens were far from defeated. In the alien command room, Zarkatha's eyes burned with fury. "They have discovered the heart of our operation, and they dared to destroy it," he growled. "Send the hunter squads. Let them feel our power. Humanity will pay." Back in the human fleet, engineers worked to repair minor damages, while scouts reported the alien response. The enemy was scrambling, uncoordinated, and afraid for the first time. Humans had not only hit them, they had revealed that Earth's intelligence and strategy could rival raw power. Drake turned to her team. This is more than a fight. This is a statement. Every move we make now shapes their fear. Every clever strike, every calculated risk, reminds them they misjudged humanity. They thought we were primitive. They thought we were weak. They were wrong. The fleet moved silently through the shadows, preparing for the next phase. Alien reinforcements were on their way, but the humans had momentum. Knowledge was their weapon, and cunning was their shield. They would strike again, and when they did, the galaxy would remember the night humans unleashed secrets that no alien expected. As the stars stretched endlessly, the first hints of a larger plan formed in Drake's mind. The aliens' arrogance had blinded them. They thought victory was certain, but humans had something they could never predict: ingenuity, courage, and the will to survive against impossible odds. "Set course for the rendezvous point," Drake ordered. "We rest only briefly, then we plan the next move. The galaxy is watching, and we are just getting started." The void was silent again, but not peaceful. Humanity had struck, and the echoes of their cleverness would haunt the alien fleet for cycles to come. A new fear had entered the galaxy, a fear that humans were not what they seemed. The alien fleet had regrouped. Massive ships, once shattered by human cleverness, now sailed in rigid formation, their glowing shields flickering with renewed energy. Commander Zarkatha's voice echoed across their command room, sharp and commanding. "Human audacity ends now. We crush them before they can strike again." On the human side, Commander Elena Drake studied the alien movements from the bridge of horizon. "They're coming for us," she said, her voice calm but determined. "And they think this time they will win." Lieutenant Malik leaned forward, fingers tapping nervously on the console. "They've reorganized. Fleet numbers look stronger than before. If we meet them head-on, it could be disastrous." Drake nodded slowly. "Then we don't meet them head-on. We meet them smart. Prepare the flanking units. Activate stealth protocols and position our ships in the nebula sectors. They'll expect us to defend. Instead, we attack from the shadows." The human fleet moved with precision, slipping silently between clouds of cosmic dust. Each ship's sensors were tuned to pick up even the faintest blip of alien movement. Tension filled every deck and cockpit. Every pilot, every crew member knew this battle could decide the fate of Earth's outer sectors. Then the first attack came. Alien ships surged forward, firing energy pulses and plasma volleys. One human cruiser took a hit to its side, sparks flying across the hull. Engineers worked frantically to stabilize the damage while pilots weaved through the storm of fire. "Focus on evasion first," Drake commanded. "We fight when the moment is right." Suddenly, a coordinated human strike emerged from the nebula. Hidden ships fired from angles the aliens had not anticipated. Energy beams struck the alien flank, targeting engines and weak shields. Ships spun helplessly, caught by the precision of human attacks. Malik's voice came over comms, excitement and focus blending. "We've got 2 cruisers down. They didn't see us until it was too late." Drake allowed herself a small nod. "Keep pressure. Do not let them recover." But the aliens were not idle. Zarkatha's dreadnought pivoted sharply, unleashing a massive wave of plasma fire. One human frigate was caught in the blast, its shields flickering dangerously. Pilots scrambled, dodging asteroids and debris as the ship shuddered under the impact. "We can't lose them," shouted Ensign Ray from engineering. Sparks flew from overloaded circuits. Drake's voice cut sharply across comms. "Divert all auxiliary power to shields. Weapons teams, focus fire on their forward turrets. Take them down." The human strike was relentless. Using the chaos, small attack teams launched boarding drones toward weakened alien ships. The drones slipped inside, planting disruptive charges and sabotaging core systems. Explosions ripped through alien hulls, throwing enemy crews into panic. From the alien command room, Zarkath roared in fury. "Stop them! Do not let these humans survive." But panic had already begun to spread. Alien admirals shouted conflicting orders, their formations breaking apart under human pressure. Ships collided or spun out of control. The arrogance that had once blinded them now worked against them. Humans were clever, unpredictable, and they struck where the aliens were weakest. Back on horizon, Drake's voice was steady. This is the moment we turn the tide. All units coordinate. Target their command cruiser. Malik, lead the charge. Malik's ship tore through space, dodging fire and weaving between asteroids. He unleashed a volley of torpedoes aimed at the alien flagship's engines. The cruiser shuddered violently as explosions rocked its hull. Alien crews struggled to stabilize the damage, but it was too late. The human strike was precise, devastating, and fast. Command cruiser is down to 30% power, Malik reported, his voice tense. They're falling apart. The human fleet pressed the attack, relentless and calculated. Smaller ships targeted auxiliary vessels, while stealth teams struck from unexpected angles. Energy pulses lit the void. Explosions scattered debris like stars being torn apart, and every human move was executed with careful brilliance. Drake watched the enemy crumble on the holographic display. They thought numbers alone would win the fight, but humans don't rely on numbers. We rely on strategy, cunning, and courage. Keep pushing. Hours passed in a blur of chaos, courage, and calculated strikes. By the end of the battle, the alien fleet was fragmented. Many ships had retreated, others were disabled, and command structures were in disarray. For the first time, the aliens knew fear. On horizon, Drake exhaled slowly, exhaustion and triumph mixing in her chest. We've held them off. We've struck back. But this war is far from over. They will return, stronger, angrier, and desperate. Malik leaned back, wiping sweat from his brow. They underestimated us again. And again it cost them. Drake's gaze was unwavering, fixed on the stars. They won't make that mistake a third time. Humanity doesn't yield. We survive. We adapt. And we strike when least expected. In the alien command room, Zarkatha's eyes burned with fury. These humans, they fight with madness, with cleverness, with a will we cannot crush. Prepare the next assault. Leave no corner of their fleet untouched. Humanity must pay for its audacity. As the human fleet regrouped, repairing damage and preparing for the next encounter, a sense of confidence settled among the crews. They had survived the counterattack. They had turned the enemy's power against them. And most importantly, they had learned that intelligence, courage, and determination could topple even the mightiest foe. The war had escalated, but humanity had shown the first sparks of dominance. In the dark expanse of space, one thing was clear: challenge humans, and you invite destruction beyond imagination. The human fleet drifted silently through the outer sectors, battered but alive. The void around them was a dark, endless canvas, interrupted only by distant stars and the faint trails of debris from the previous battle. Commander Elena Drake stood on the bridge of horizon, her eyes scanning the holographic map. The alien fleet was regrouping, but their panic was visible even from sensor readings. For the first time, humans had the advantage, not in sheer numbers, but in strategy, courage, and cunning. "Commander," Lieutenant Malik said, pointing to the display, "our reconnaissance drones picked up something unusual. A convoy moving from a hidden sector. Shields unusually low, movement patterns odd." Drake leaned closer. Could it be a supply fleet? Kira Sun, the linguist and codebreaker, shook her head. "Not supply. They're signals. I've never seen anything like it. The patterns suggest a new weapon, something they have kept secret, and they're moving it now, possibly to rebuild their fleet." Drake's lips pressed together. "Then we don't wait. We strike before it's ready." The fleet moved swiftly, hiding behind asteroid fields and nebula clouds. Every ship had been reinforced and repaired where possible, but the crew knew that their true strength lay not in hull or shields, but in their minds and adaptability. As they approached the convoy, the aliens seemed unaware of the humans' presence. Confidence, once arrogance, now made them careless. Small attack teams deployed, moving like shadows through the void. They struck with precision, taking out escorts, disabling engines, and planting charges on the central vessel. "Commander, charges are set," Malik reported. "Ready to detonate on your command." Drake nodded. "Do it." A series of explosions tore through the convoy, sending the ships spinning helplessly. Energy beams malfunctioned, shields collapsed, and debris scattered like falling stars. Human teams pulled back quickly, leaving the aliens in chaos. The hidden weapon, or whatever secret they had been protecting, was destroyed before it could even be deployed. In the alien command room, Zarkatha's voice rang with fury and disbelief. How could they know? How could they strike so precisely? The humans had not only damaged the enemy, they had shaken their confidence. Fear spread through the alien ranks. For the first time, their arrogance faltered. They realized that humans were more than mere primitives. They were clever, adaptive, and unafraid of impossible odds. Drake turned to her officers. "This is the moment we shift the battle. We have their attention, and they fear us. We use that fear. Recon drones map their fleet. Pilots prepare for a full-scale strike. We hit now while they hesitate." The fleet moved with deadly precision. Smaller ships circled around the enemy, masking their positions. Missiles launched from hidden angles, and energy beams cut through the alien shields like knives. Panic spread among the alien crews. Orders were shouted and ignored, commands conflicted, and their once perfect formations collapsed. "Look at them," Malik said quietly, awe in his voice. "They thought we were weak, and now they're falling apart." Drake's eyes gleamed with resolve. They underestimated humanity again. Every civilization that underestimates us pays the same price. Hours passed in a tense ballet of strategy and courage. The humans focused on key vessels, cutting off command ships, crippling engine cores, and isolating pockets of resistance. Every decision was calculated, every maneuver precise. The aliens had the firepower, but humans had intelligence, ingenuity, and fearlessness. Finally, the alien fleet began to retreat. Their forces were scattered, weakened, and demoralized. Human ships regrouped, engines humming softly in the quiet aftermath. It was not the end of the war, but it was the moment the tide began to turn. On horizon, Drake allowed herself a rare, quiet smile. They thought the galaxy was theirs. They thought they could intimidate us with size, firepower, and arrogance. But humans fight with heart, mind, and will. And tonight we proved it. In the distant reaches of space, Zarkatha's eyes burned with fury. They have bested us again. Humans. They are unlike anything we have faced. Prepare everything. We will not fail. We cannot allow them to grow stronger. Drake looked out the observation window at the glittering stars. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of unknown threats. But humanity had made its statement. Cleverness, courage, and determination could overcome even the mightiest power. The turning point had arrived, and the humans were no longer the hunted, they were becoming the hunters. The war was far from. The void was alive with tension. Alien ships, once confident and proud, now drifted like wounded giants, struggling to maintain formation. Commander Elena Drake stood on the bridge of horizon, watching the chaos through the holographic display. Every sensor reading told the same story. The alien fleet was fractured, their command crippled, their morale shattered. "Commander," Lieutenant Malik said, his voice tense, "we've got a chance to finish this. Their flagship is isolated, engines flickering, shields down to 20%. We can strike now, total victory." Drake's lips pressed together. "We strike smart, not recklessly. Every move counts. Humanity ends this, but we do it cleanly, decisively." Across the battlefield, the alien leader Zarkath roared in fury. "Do not let them escape. Do not let them destroy our legacy. Humanity will pay for every insult, every attack." But the humans were ready. Small strike teams moved through asteroid fields and nebulae, approaching the alien flagship from angles no one could predict. Every ship knew its role: distraction, attack, sabotage, or shield penetration. Every human move was precise, timed to perfection. Malik's ship led the assault, weaving between energy beams, dodging missile volleys, and firing torpedoes at the flagship's core. Explosions erupted across its hull, ripping apart engines and weapon systems. Alien crews scrambled, panicked, and shouted conflicting orders, but it was too late. The humans had anticipated every counter. On horizon, Drake's voice was calm but firm. Deploy the boarding drones. Target the command center and shield generators. Disable everything we can before the flagship collapses. The drones slipped into the alien ship like ghosts. They cut circuits, triggered controlled explosions, and spread chaos through the command deck. Zarkatha's voice cracked as he tried to maintain control. You cannot destroy us. But humanity had already won. The flagship's shields failed, engines sputtered, and the once mighty ship began to drift helplessly into the void. Human torpedoes found their mark, striking critical points. A massive explosion tore through the core, sending the flagship spinning apart, leaving nothing but debris and fire in the cold darkness. Drake exhaled, letting the tension leave her body. "It's over," she whispered. "Their command is gone. Their fleet is scattered. Their legacy is destroyed." The remaining alien ships turned and fled, broken, humiliated, and terrified. Across the galaxy, word would soon spread of humanity's cunning, courage, and relentless determination. No empire that underestimated humans would ever do so again. Malik turned to Drake, awe in his eyes. They underestimated us every step of the way. And look at them now. Total destruction. Drake nodded, eyes still on the void. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And humans fight smarter than anyone expects. That is our strength. That is why we endure. That is why no one, no matter how powerful, can challenge us without paying the price. The fleet regrouped, moving quietly through the aftermath. Engineers worked to repair minor damage, while pilots kept watch for stragglers. Though victory was theirs, Drake knew the galaxy remained dangerous, full of threats waiting to challenge humanity again. But one fact was undeniable. Humanity had proven itself. The arrogant alien empire had learned, in the most brutal way, that humans were not to be underestimated. As the stars stretched endlessly outside the observation deck, Drake allowed herself a small smile. The battle was won, the aliens' legacy shattered, and the outer sectors were secure, for now. Humanity had faced impossible odds and triumphed, not through size or overwhelming force, but through intelligence, courage, and unbreakable will. The galaxy would remember this day, the day humans struck back, the day the arrogant empire learned that challenging humanity was not only dangerous, it was fatal. Drake looked to her officers. This victory is ours, but it is also a message to the universe. We are here. We are strong. We will defend ourselves. And we will never be underestimated again. The stars shone silently outside, but the echo of humanity's power resonated through the void. The humans had risen, and the galaxy had taken notice. Legacy destroyed. Fear born. Respect earned. Humanity endured.